hello everyone, and I'm Christine Joy Estacio, and the topic that was given to us is about literature during the period of self-discovery. When we say self-discovery, what does it mean? From the word itself, self-discovery has something to deal with being who you are and finding your path to take and knowing your purpose in life. Self-discovery is a process of learning more about yourself. In literature, during the U.S. colonization under self-discovery is the ultimate destination for inner exploration in literature. Because of literature, it helped us to discover more about ourselves. American soldiers became the first teacher. That is why Filipino writers had acquired the mastery of English writing. And during the period of self-discovery, many Filipino writers went into all forms of literature, like news, reporting, poetry, stories, plays, essays, and novels. Because of these all forms of literature, it helps us to discover what is our talent, where we are capable of, and what is our capabilities. And because of these all forms of literature, it helps us to discover more about ourselves. Literature reflects the self. The inner exploration of the self exhibit the truth about an individual. Human life is a framework of obligation, goals, and accomplishments. Self-discovery is the enlightenment of an individual in the journey of life. According to Aristotle, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Human beings are obsessed with emotions and feelings. These qualities rule over or dominate human mind and heart, which in turn close the eyes of consciousness. Self-discovery occurs at any moment. It transforms an individual into an entirely different person. It becomes the dominant factor and it leads the life of every individual. Literature, being the treasure house of knowledge, plays an important role in the self-discovery of an individual. With their further knowledge, they can create a beautiful piece. They can create a beautiful piece like novels, poetry, essays, like that. Because of literature, they can express their emotions and feelings of their selves. Because of self-discovery, it helps the Filipino to embrace more themselves with regards to their strength and weaknesses.
So, good day, teacher and everyone. I am Kimberly Dulinan, and we'll talk about the poetry and the short story and the self-discovery period. So, in poetry, the noteworthy names in this field include Marcelud Gracia Concepcion, Jose Garcia Villa, Angela Manalang Gloria, Abelardo Subido, Trinidad Taroso Subido, and Rafael Solueta de Costa. So they turn out not only love poems but patriotic, religious, descriptive, and reflective poems as well. So they wrote in free verse, odes, and sonnets, and in other types. Poetry was original, spontaneous, competently written and later incorporated social consciousness. So Jose Garcia Villa, the author of Footnote to Youth, published in 1933, and Merin Isa is also known as the Coma poet, used the pen name Dove Lion, derived from the dove, eagle, and lion. He was awarded the National Artist of the Philippines title for literature in 1973. So the main theme of the Footnote to Youth is people will always go with their feelings without hesitations. They will do anything they want. what they want, and especially the youth, but in the end they will regret the decisions. So that is the main theme of the footnote to youth. And also he was also known for publishing a collection of erotic poems called man's songs, which went controversial. So as well as at the same year after publishing the erotic poems, he also won the best story for her story Mer in Isa. So Jose Garcia Villa is not only a poetic writer but also a short story writer and a painter. So let's proceed to the short stories. So probably because of the incentives provided by the publications like the Philippine Free Press, the Graphic, the Philippine Magazine, and the college publications like the PUP, Literary Apprentice, poetry, and the short stories flourished during these times, 1925 to 1941. So in 1933 and to 1940, this is also called the golden era of the Filipino writing in English. So in the self-discovery period, they already master in they are or the writers are already master in writing in English. So there were still remnants of Spanish influence in the use of expressions that were florid, sentimental, exaggerated, and bombastic. So the influence of the Western culture also was already evident. So the notable writers and works are How My Brother Lion Brought a Wife by Manuel E. Arguella, which is discussed in the application parts. Jose Lansang's The Broken Parasol, Sinai C. Hamada's Talanata's Wife, Fausto Dugenius' Wanderlust, Amado G. Directs His Gift and Yesterday, Amador D. Daujo's The Woman Who Looked Out of the Window, and Sunset by Paz La Torrena. So the story revolves around the two characters, the maid and the gobbler. On the one evening, a girl caught in the rain stumbles upon Barranco, a small shop for shelter. The gobbler that lives in that shop is surprised for her sudden appearance, but then he lets her stay in because the rain is outside is still pouring heavily. So here as the story as they met, it is a love at first sight. So the girl has explains how she arrives in the shop that rainy night. She has been running away from her senorita's house. The gobblers becomes terrified after hearing that the senorita's younger brother harassed the girl that night. Because of that, he promises to marry her, but they have to wait until he saves enough money for the wedding. They are happily living together. However, not a word about the marriage has been said since that day. One morning, while the gobbler is away for his work, the senorita has arrived to their house. The girl is so happy as she talks about her new life with the gobbler and their plan to marry later. So that is short story of the short story of the summary, of the Sunset by La Paz La Torrena. And that is the poetry and the short story of self-discovery period. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. This is Justin M. Damisil, and now we will be proceeding to the essays and other prose styles during the self-discovery period. This is from the year 1925 to 1941. So, the essays during this period improve with the years in quantity and quality, in content, subject, and style. So, do you know any Filipino writers of essays during this period? Now, let me introduce you to the notable writers of essays during the self-discovery period. In political social reflective essays, they became popular because of their newspaper columns during this period. So, we have Federico Mangajas, Salvador P. Lopez, Pura S. Castrenz, Vicente Albano Pasis, Ariston Estrada, and Jose A. Lanza. Next are the critical essayists during this period, and these were Salvador P. Lopez again, Ivy Mallory, Ignacio Manlapas, Jose Garcia Villa, Arturo B. Rotor, and Leopoldo Y. Yabes. An example of a critical essay during this period is Maximo V. Sullivan's They Called It Brotherhood. And we also have personal or familiar essays that were written by F.B. Icasiano, or also known as Mang Kiko, Alfredo A. Letiatco, Solomon V. Arnaldo, Amando G. Dairit, and Consuelo Gar or Katuka. And let me give you additional informations from some of the authors from this period. In 1940, Salvador P. Lopez Literature and Society, which is a collection of critical reflections and serious essays, and which won first prize in the Commonwealth Literary Contest of 1940. Also, in 1940, Camilo Osayas published The Filipino Way of Life, a series of essays on the Filipino way of life as drawn from history, folkways, philosophy, and psychology of the Philippines. In 1941, F.B. Icasiano, or also known as Mang Kiko, was reprints of the best of Icasiano's essays in the Sunday Times magazine under the column From My Nipahat. It is an essay from the common tao and is written with humor and sympathy. And last, in August 16, 1941, Carlos P. Romulo had an editorial printed in the Philippines Herald entitled I Am a Filipino. It was reprinted in his book My Brother Americans in 1945 in New York by Double Play and Corporation. That is all for my report.
Morning everyone, I'm Crystal J. Garces and I'm going to give a short discussion about the other essayists from the self-discovery period. So among those who wrote criticism during the American period were Ignacio Manlapas, Leopoldo Yades, and Ivy Mallory. But it was Salvador P. Lopez criticism that grabbed attention when he won the Commonwealth Literary Award for the essay in 1940 with his Literature and Society. This essay posited that art must have substance and that Villiers' adherence to art's forsake is decadent. So next slide is the biography. Okay, it was also in 1935 that Isabelo P. Caballero and Marcelo de Gracia Concepcion co-authored the book Quezon. So it was published in Manila. The McCullough Printing Company of New York published another book about President Quezon in the same year. So the book Quezon, A Man of Destiny, was written by Carlos Aquino. So by 1938, so the Commonwealth Biography Contest, Carlos Aquino's The Great Malayan is sweeping and majestic life story of the Philippine national patriot Jose Rizal. So epic in scope, brimming with drama and insight, the novel is a masterful study of Rizal's brief but brilliant life from the Calamba to Bagumbayan. Go! In his book, Mr. Quirino paints the many faces of Rizal in stark and colorful hues against the tumultuous backdrop of a nation in search of its identity and ultimately its freedom. So by 1940, Ivy Mallory's Birth of Discontent revealed the sensitive touch of a writer who in simple language was able to reveal his profound thoughts and feelings. So that's it. Thank you.
Good morning, I am Patrick Cruz. I am under the Publications of Self-Discovery period. So, during the 1925 to 1941, the Philippine Free Press provided the first incentives to Philippine writers In English, by offering prizes to worthwhile contributions. Other publications followed suit. And also, the Philippine Free Press is a weekly English language news magazine which was founded in 1908, which makes the Philippines' oldest weekly English language periodically currently still in print. So I will show you an example magazine worth 15 centavos published last December 22, 1923 by the Philippine Free Press. So I will zoom, take a closer look. How is it look like? So there. Okay. Next slide. Here. The Philippines Free Press dates to 1907. Its editorials and editorial cartoons features had a durable impact on Filipino culture and politics. One example here is Juan de la Cruz, the Filipino everyman. As a term, and the iconic depiction or interpretation of him was created by the Free Press. The term Pinoy was also first used in its pages from 1908 to 1960s was led by its editor-in-chief, R. McCulloch Dick. So, during this time, press freedom was recognized. So, the presence of independent Filipino publications is proof to this. And also, the importance of public during the self-discovery period is the presence of press freedom and the discovery of Filipino independence. So once again, good morning. So that's my part. Thank you.
Philippine drama. We all know Filipinos love entertainment, and in fact, a survey conducted by Nielsen said that an average Filipinos spent an hour every day in entertainment activities. We could say that Philippine drama is one favorite of the Filipino people. So guys, have you wondered how the Philippine drama evolved in the past? Let's take a look. The Philippine drama goes way back to the pre-colonial period, whereas the Duplo and Karagatan is being performed. Duplo is a political debate that is being held by trained men and women in the last night of the dead. Meanwhile, Karagatan is like Duplo, but its participants were amateurs. And so the Spaniards came colonizing our country. Fortunately, they had bring new ways of drama like Zarzuela. It is an act of play that makes the mass feeling towards love, fear, grief, sorrow, or any emotional reactions. Sinakulo is a heavy way of drama that shows the life and sacrifices of Jesus Christ. The third is the Moro Moro, that depicts the war between Christians and Muslims, with Christians always on the winning side. Let's go to another variation of drama, and that is street drama. Ati-atian, Moriones, Longinus is one of the few kinds of street drama. Ati-atihan is a ritual in honor of Santo Niño, while Moriones is a festival that depicts Roman soldiers, and Longinus shows the spear that pierced through Jesus Christ. As we have discussed, we could observe that the drama focuses on the Christian religion. It seems like Spaniards inflicted this into our different genre so that they could spread Christianity. Moving on, American colonization brings another genre which is called vaudeville. Vaudeville is a way for Americans to entertain American soldiers in the Philippines. Lastly, the modern Philippine drama rejuvenated in 1967. Upon the establishment of the Repertory Philippines, it is the country's leading theater and for cinema or motion picture, one of the most popular form of art and entertainment. It uses picture techniques to film and technological programs and is very evident today.